This song is about breaking shit. The song's about having a good ass time and saying fuck you to everybody who fucking hates you. That's what most of my songs are about. This song is dedicated to Jackson. Love you, buddy. This is your favorite song. This song is called Rockstar. Play this shit.
I'm back, baby. From an adventurous off-the-grid August. Got a lot of stuff done. Talked to a lot of interesting people. Ended up in the woods with the Lakota Sioux tribe, tripping bowls, man. We drank some ayahuasca with some shamans, Colombian shaman this time, but it was interesting to do so in the northern hemisphere. Every time I take the dive, I am down south around the equator. So, same old get down in regards to the tap-in. Anyone who knows, these plant medicines are just a bridge to something that already exists and we come from. And through some modalities, you can tap into that. Breath work, meditation, constant meditation. One thing I like about using the plant medicine ayahuasca is that it enhances your meditation practice. And I owe everything Stationary Astronaut is to the plant medicine ayahuasca. Started flying down in 2015, and I was down in the Amazon jungle, laying on a mat with a bunch of people I had in a room filled with 40 people I had no business being in that room with. CIA officials who had to be there incognito with an alias, doctors, avatar creators, curators. My boy Brian, I can say his name. That's known. He worked on Avatar and a bunch of other Pixar movies. And my boy John Rubenstein. And I'm down there and I'm coming out of it and I'm talking to my brother Matt Toussaint, one of the shamans. And I was like, dude, I was laughing the whole week. I was just having a great time in regards to the work I was getting done. I was dealing with darkness, which you always do, but you come out of it. And I told him, I was like, dude, I guarantee I am the brokest one down here. My transmission blew out of my Volkswagen on I-35 2 days before I was leaving for the jungle. Like, life was not in my favor. And I told him, I was like, man, I'm the brokest one in here. But I can tell that all these people who are well off, politically, career-wise, financially, they are dealing with some darkness because all of them were in the fetal position just dealing with shit. And he taps me on the chest plate and he's like, Nick, all that matters is that you're spiritually rich. And that has rung so true in how I approach life, everything I do. I don't care if I get away for a month and don't communicate with many people. I need it. I call it a spiritual recalibration. And that's what it is. On a daily basis, when you're dealing with so many people, getting away is paramount. It is key because it's beyond keeping you sane. It heightens your perspective on humanity, why we're here, and what we're doing. And when I know my purpose is to connect people and to pull people in, I need to get away for a little while. And I use it as medicine in its own right. So I keep deleting my show notes on accident. Oh, man, 2 days ago, I got projectile vomited on 3 times in a row from my daughter. We had just gotten back. I had to be in a wedding down in Illinois. And we had gotten back, went and picked her up from grandma's, and she wasn't feeling too hot. And later that night, she was burning up, and she wouldn't drink anything, and she was fussing. And I didn't read the signs. And sure enough, I'm holding her. I just gave her some baby Tylenol, and before I know it, she was doing the and all over me once. And then the second time, I was taking a shower in this. It was incredible. And then that third time was all over. Needless to say, thank God we were in the kitchen. But I took a shower in her vomit. And if that isn't parenting 101, I don't know what is. Sacrifice, baby. This is a cool episode with my boy Zack Chazin. He is such an interesting cat. And after our last Lincoln drink, Gabby Thomas pulled me aside and she's like, you need to get his story. He's got such an interesting story. And I feel with this episode, beyond all the stories you're about to hear, we only scratched the surface. There's going to be a round 2, a round 3, a round 4 probably. Not to mention he's on the panel this coming Tuesday at 7 Sushi and Steakhouse and Rooftop. We're taking it over, baby. Our boy Yoon Win got us in the door. The homie, Zach's on the panel. Pharaoh is on the panel, who is our next episode. Michael Shines, you can hear him, I don't know, probably like 15 episodes ago. This panel is going to be dope. It's going to be dope. These human beings in the music industry are some talented blokes. And I'm really excited to share their story with you. It's really interesting. And honestly, for this episode, I've got to thank Brick and Mortar. Jack, baby, Jackie Sussman, you hooked us up. Thank you for setting us up in the Brick and Mortar conference room. It's a dope co-working space. Make sure you go check it out. Honestly, I gotta give a shout out to one of my riders, one of my sponsors, my boy Jake at Cato CBD. I have been using CBD religiously probably for the last 2.5 years, and I've noticed what it does to be on my sleep pattern, just kind of emotionally how I feel. I know when I'm not taking it, kind of like when you know you're not wearing your shoe inserts because your knees start killing you. Old man problems. That's the same thing with my CBD practice. I just put it in my green smoothie in the morning. Sometimes I might take a dose before bed, but really it's non-psychoactive, you guys. Anyone who tries to tell you you can't do it when you're doing this or you'll get popped, don't believe them. It's a bunch of BS. And thankfully it's becoming more widespread. Everybody's grandma is getting on CBD. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, pun intended. Also, thank you to my partner as well, another sponsor of the show. That would be Lapidary Jewelers. Rochester Lapidary Jewelers is your custom go-to jeweler. They can make anything. It's absolutely incredible. You can print out an idea from the internet, bring it in there, and they'll mock that up for you. They can throw some added custom design into it. Oh, you want to place 4 diamonds around the 6 that you brought in, like whatever. They can do anything. They've got a wide range of stones that you can choose from. They can do anything. It's pretty incredible to watch Dan Boy work in the back on the computers is kind of a sight to behold because he's a magician. And then their 2 bench jewelers are magicians as well. And you can go in there and literally watch them create your piece of art while they're working on it because they wear GoPros. It's pretty dope. And then they stream that out to the storefront. So it's pretty cool. Or the staging area, my bad. But I really want to stress that everyone needs to go grab some Lincoln Drink tickets. Your first drink's on us. Go to Eventbrite, Lincoln Drink. It's at 7 Sushi Steakhouse and Rooftop. Tuesday the 10th. Zach will be on the panel. It's going to be interesting. Also, on top of everything, you guys, we're not playing around. We got Where the Minds Meet 2 coming up November 1st. Remember last year we had Gary V, Theo Vaughn, DJ D-Mill on stage, Rachel Peterson, Giselle Ugardi, Chris Hawk from Generation Hero. But the big player was Gary Vee and Theo Vaughn, and that was epic. This year we've got a heavy focus on human potential and plant medicine. So we've got Dr. Gabor Mate, world-leading behavioral psychologist, coming to town as well as Dr. Dennis McKenna, leading ethnopharmacologist on the planet, Uncle Denny. You can hear him back probably like 20 episodes, Uncle Denny, maybe 30 episodes, 40 episodes. I don't know. It was last November he came on. I probably released it in December when I got back from Costa Rica. Go check it out. He told some incredible stories. He's going to be coming back on. So is Dr. Gabor Mate at Where the Minds Meet. We're going to be doing a live podcast with him, as well as a live panel with Uncle Dennis, my boy Ben Stewart from Gaia TV. He's going to be speaking as well. He's a producer for Gaia. This dude did the Psychedelica series, very interesting, and it's something that can really expand your mind if you're not a psychedelic adventurer. It doesn't matter, but what you do need to realize is that this medicine has been provided by Mother Earth for quite some time, for millennia, and it has profoundly changed our frontal cortex. It's helped it grow. If you believe in the stoned ape theory, which is something Dennis McKenna's brother curated, which is when we were hunter and gatherers, and Dennis talks about this, they would microdose plant medicine to heighten their awareness so they could hunt better, and their families could eat literally. And what that also did is it helped form our frontal cortex. So if you notice, the big difference between us and a regular regular mammal's brain is the size of the frontal cortex. Elephants have large frontal cortexes. Their memories are on point. Same thing with orcas. They have a language we'll never be able to crack that code. What does that say? Something's going on with this thing called dimethyltryptamine. And it gives us our visuals when we dream. It also, when you're a child, you have a lot of deja vu. Chances are good you have higher amounts of dimethyltryptamine flooding your brain at that time. It also inhibits. Is it inhibits? No, inhibits. It also, what's the word? It helps our brains grow and advance, basically. It doesn't inhibit. That would mean it was holding it back. Dimethyltryptamine is pretty much the coup d'etat. It's the spirit molecule. It is something that can kind of tap us into higher source. And I don't mean in a sleeping state where you're tripping out, man. No, that's why breath technique, the Wim Hof method, is powerful. Pumping your body, holding O2 inside your body, and then that can have a psychotropic effect, but at the same time, it's the long-term benefits of what that does for your brain and your body as a whole, your nervous system. So make sure you go to Eventbrite, Where the Minds Meet, and that'll pop up. It's going to be legendary. It's going to be a full day, pretty much from 1 o'clock till 8:30. So, we're going to have live art. My boy Sean McCann is going to be doing an exclusive painting that you'll only see if you show up that day. It's just incredible. We're going to have digital art on the walls, three-dimensional imagery going on. You'll see it. We try to implement art into what we do, obviously, and we're trying to up the ante and take it to another level. Oh, and I just want to tell you a little bit about Zack Chazin. He's a legend. He's the founder of the Zombie Pub Crawl. He is the founder of Snowta Fest. He is someone who has led a life that he's the phoenix that rose from the ashes. Odds were stacked against him, and he came out the other side shining through hard work and grit, and those are the kind of people I like to surround myself with. So I'm going to leave you with this. I started with a story about my kid. I'm going to end it with, if you want to make a difference in the world today, hug your kids.
And I'm going to be high as a fucking man.
And now, the stationary astronaut.
I've been waiting so long to get this freaking goofball. Yeah, you walked in that night, and You had your comb over going? I was like, damn, is this real life right now?
You're making me blush.
Who's, you were wearing that hat. Who were you wearing that hat with? You took
Which
a
hat?
picture with him. That hat you're wearing right now.
This hat?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been wearing this hat. Lil Xan gave it to me
Yup.
at one of my festivals.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
Which festival was that?
515 Alive. It's a camping festival
Yeah.
in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
I do every year.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's coming up next week, actually.
How many years you been doing it?
I got brought onto the festival like 4 years ago, but it's been an event for like 15, 16 years.
Okay.
And they wanted to transfer it to, it was more of like a block party, like food truck thing. And they started adding a live music element and decided they wanted to make it more of a music festival. So they brought me on to help get some bigger talent. And we made it 2 days and, blew it out of the venue where it was before it was held downtown Des Moines, but it got too big for downtown.
Yeah.
So we had to move it to a bigger venue, and we added camping, and now it's a big camping music festival.
Is that what happened with Snowta Fest too? Because you recently moved that to the Armory.
No, Snowta was moved to the Armory as a basically it's a better venue for live music.
Yeah.
The convention center is an amazing space because it's massive and you can get away with a lot of things that we did, like indoor snowboarding, where we, I don't know if you saw, but we brought in a huge indoor snowboarding ramp and we had a Ferris wheel in there at one point, and we did a lot of really cool stuff that you can't get away with in a traditional music venue. Yeah. But the problem is it's not made for music, and it didn't sound very good. There was an element of people were only allowed to drink in 21 plus areas, like a beer garden. And that's not really super fun, when you're at a concert and, you want to have your beverage by the stage. And it just, the Armory made for a better fan and artist experience. We're able to do pyro, we're able to do open flames at the Armory. It just logistically made more sense for us to move to the Armory.
So when are you going to dip out of Dodge to go down to Des Moines this week?
I leave on Wednesday.
So you go out a few days in advance?
Yeah, because we got to build the site.
Yeah, so what about, do you already have people on the ground down there? Is it pretty...
Yeah, my partner down there is a Des Moines native. His name is Dan Green. Shout out Dan Green and Subconscious Productions. They are basically the promoter down in Des Moines. And, yeah.
Can you break down the importance of trust and partnerships in any kind of high-scale event?
I mean, you're going into war. That's the best way to describe it. You're literally, with no disrespect to anybody that's actually gone into war and gone into battle, but, it's as close as I'm going to get to going into war or battle. And you want to make sure you have people by your side that you trust.
Yeah.
During a festival, producing a festival, there's a lot of variables and a lot of things that can and do go wrong. And, being a promoter, you're basically a firefighter. You're putting out fires. So, you'll be running to put out one fire and you'll see your partner be running the other way to put out another fire, and you'll look at each other and ask if you're okay. And, it's like you're really in battle out there, man. And you got to do it with people you trust and you can count on.
Now, this might be an urban myth, but is it true that Post Malone babysat your kids on his tour bus?
That is not. That is an urban legend. That is not true, and that's the first time I've heard of something like that.
Dude,
that's amazing, though.
That's the thing. That's the legend of Chazin, though.
Wow, I'm honored. No, my Post Malone did not babysit my kids. There is a story involving my kids and Post Malone, but he didn't babysit them on his tour bus. Wow.
What's the story, though? They just got to meet him.
No, my son Jackson is a big fan of rap music.
Yeah.
And at the time, he was a massive Post Malone fan. and wanted to come to Snowta and see Post Malone. So he came in, and at the time that my son Jackson walked into the venue, he walked in backstage, and Post Malone had just got there. And I asked Jackson if he wanted to meet Post Malone, and he said, yeah. So then we went and met Post Malone, and Post was just like, what up, Jackson? What's your favorite song? And Jackson said Rockstar, and, you know, they hugged and got a picture, whatever. And when Post was on stage, me and Jackson were in the photo pit, and Post goes, I have it on video. I have this all recorded. I didn't even know this was happening until everybody, like all these kids started looking at Jackson and taking pictures. I was too busy talking to somebody. But Post on stage goes, I want to dedicate this next song to Jackson. And he points out Jackson, goes, I know this is your favorite song. I love you, buddy. And he goes, the song's called Rockstar, and takes a Bud Light and smashes it on his head and drinks it. Yeah, that's that story.
So that's the babysitting story.
That's the babysitting story, yeah.
Dude, so when you're booking these acts, that's a large act to book.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Skrillex, I believe, was it last
I had
year?
Skrillex last year, yep. Skrillex and Marshmello headlined last year.
So, like, what's the stress level like to book these guys? Or is it kind of gotten to the point where these agencies know that if Chazin's sending an email, we better answer it back right away?
I mean, I don't think anybody is saying, oh, my God, we better respond right away.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, what I and my partners have been able to do in the Midwest is create, you know, niche festivals in markets where there isn't any. You know, before Snowta, before 515, it was very difficult for a musician to play for that big a crowd. You know, I mean, there was Somerset before us, but Somerset is in Wisconsin. It's not even Minnesota. You know, there's Soundset, but again, Soundset's in St. Paul, not Minneapolis, and Soundset is hip-hop, not EDM. You know, before Snowta, an artist was limited to the capacities and money that you could only get out of a standard venue. So now when an artist is routing, you know, a tour and doing festivals, all of a sudden there's a target in Minneapolis and Iowa that they didn't have before. So that is important to an agent and an artist. But as far as the stress level, I mean, yeah, man, it takes 12 to 15 months of planning for a single festival, at least. And I produced 3 of them.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I have 515 Alive next week, and we're already well into planning next year. You know, I have Snowta coming up in December, and we're already well into planning next year. You know, and then you take the 3 festivals and combine it with all the club and venue shows I do. You know, on top of being a dad and trying to keep my sanity, it's a lot.
Did you go into Snowta prepping to create the premier party in the wintertime in Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, we went into Snowta to, you know, first off, I think Minneapolis it's one of the best music communities I've ever experienced. And, you know, we have 2 thriving scenes out here. You know, we have a hip-hop scene and we have a dance music scene. And they both are, like, they run parallel to each other. And as of, you know, 2011, 2012, things started crossing over more. You know, EDM kids listening to hip-hop kids listening to EDM. So we just felt like...
Rappers making country songs.
Yeah, I mean, Diplo producing rap tracks, you know, like, it just crosses over. And so we felt that now was a great time to, you know... bridge the 2 communities in Minneapolis on the biggest party day of the year. And that came Snowta.
It's legendary now.
Yeah, it's you know, it's definitely grown quite a bit since 2016 or whatever. 2016, yeah, that's when we started it.
It's got to be crazy to have 2 flesh babies And then you have multiple industry babies, too.
Yeah. Yep, it sure is. Definitely. But
Have you announced lineup for Snowta yet?
we have not.
Can you spill one bean, please?
I cannot.
Okay.
But, I can say that the lineup is almost done, and it's going to be coming out soon. Tickets are going to be on sale very, very, very soon, and it's going to be legendary.
You've earned access behind some of the A1 stages in this country. What's some of the craziest shit you've seen?
I mean, that's a very broad question.
There's got to be 3 things that stick out. Like, holy shit, I can't believe I just witnessed that.
I mean, the first thing that pops into my head is I went on the first 2 years of a festival called Holy Ship. Have you ever heard of Holy Ship?
Mm-mm.
It's a music festival on a cruise ship that sails through the Caribbean. And this was like 2011 when this first came up. And, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, pursuing wanting to be a music agent. And I was working at a music agency called William Morris. And I went, I had already been a promoter for 5 years, but wanted to be a music agent, so went out to LA to do that. And I saw some shit on that cruise ship that just made me realize how much I love being a promoter, and that I did not want to be a music agent. I also realized that rock and roll is not dead. It just became electronic. And that music festivals and dance music were the new wave, and that, again, that's 2011, 2012 when it was really, really starting to pick up. Now I feel like that bubble has bursted because there's been 100 new festivals added to the festival bubble every year. But I still love being a promoter, and am happy with the decision I made to not pursue being a music agent. No disrespect to all my music agent friends, just wasn't for me.
Well, it's a great connection to have, though, having dipped your toes in that industry.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
It takes them to get the axe here, regardless.
I've done everything from standing on the corner passing out flyers to being a runner, grabbing, just liquor and whatever fucking my acts need. I've done everything from that. I've done just about every role there can be in this business. Artist management, producing, done a lot.
Was there ever a burnout phase?
Not since I've been sober.
Well, bring us into that moment, because
I mean, it's very easy to get burnt out in this business, especially if you don't have a good grasp on your sanity and health. And yeah, there was a time in my life where I wasn't not very healthy and was getting burnt out very quickly. But I have ADD really bad, and I don't medicate myself, so I just have one speed, and it's fucking go. And being sober, it doesn't really allow me to burn down.
Yep. And there's a level of insanity to do what you do.
Oh yeah.
And when you have to connect so many dots, especially when you're planning multiple things so far out and having to have everything dialed in, not having a sober mind state when you have uber ADD is tough, bro. And that's where burnout comes a little quicker.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. And I've almost experienced it. Shoot, last year, putting together,
See, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just wrapping this shit around my head.
I know, dude. I could tell. I don't know if it's anxiety or just ADD.
No,
Zach's, I've never seen someone play with a chord that much, dude. Robert Plant and Freddie Mercury put together wouldn't even play with the chord that much, bro. Okay, 10 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
You've got one musician's hands that the ball needs to be in to take the final shot. Which musician is it?
Wait, what?
10 seconds on the clock.
Are we talking about a musician that plays basketball?
Hey, baby. Picture a musician that's a leader. Picture a musician like the Symbol, who played ball. You got one musician. There's 10 seconds on the clock.
I mean, hold on. A musician that has played basketball? Are we literally talking about basketball, or is this a figure of speech?
Well, it's definitely a metaphor of life.
Okay.
But we're talking about basketball.
Okay, well then DJ Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Easy.
Dude, that's a cheat code. And the thing is,
it's fucking the right answer.
Damn, he's going to miss, though. If 10 seconds on the clock, that shit's getting picked from him, bro, at the top of the key.
Dude, I don't know, man.
I choose Freddie Mercury just to see
Freddie Mercury?
just to see the leg kick at the end. I don't even care.
I'm not a sports person. I know nothing about sports.
Okay.
I'm a high school dropout snowboarder. You know, like, sports are not my thing.
Were you a ski bum ever?
Oh, yeah. I moved to Colorado, and I was a ski bum. I worked at Winter Park. I was a lifty. I got fired from being a lifty.
What?
And then I just stayed there and just fucking figured out a way to support myself so I could snowboard all day long.
Was there ever a point you lived in a van or a vehicle?
I have lived in a vehicle before, yes. Not in Colorado. I lived on couches in Colorado. But I have lived in my car at points in my life.
How long were you a ski bum for?
About a year.
A year?
Yeah. After I dropped out of high school, I just wanted to go snowboarding, so I just went to Colorado and
Was LA
came back and didn't come back until I was like dead broke.
Okay. Was LA shortly after that?
No, LA was. I did Colorado when I was like 18, and then LA was when I was like 25 or so.
When you kind of realized I got to get my shit together?
Yeah, it was when I came back from Colorado where the next chapter of my life started, and I started putting my hands into the Minneapolis music pie.
Were you throwing events before you dropped out of high school? Or what really?
No, I was just on drugs and just didn't really vibe well with school and had other, mental health issues. I was in and out of treatment a lot. Went to, boarding schools and therapeutic schools and alternative programs and this and that. And it wasn't until I finally dropped out of school where I, put all my time and energy into actually starting something that I could tangibly have as like a career and
Isn't it crazy
legitimate income.
when you look back and you realize, damn, all those people that tried to help me, whether it was conditionally or unconditionally, I should have grabbed at least one thing out of it. And now when I look back, it's like, damn, I grabbed so much out of it.
Yeah.
By being a little knucklehead who didn't want to listen. But really, I was listening on a later date.
Yeah. I mean, I don't regret anything in my life. Not one thing. It all makes you who you are. And with all the bullshit, there would be no book to read, But yeah, no, it all adds to the story.
My favorite people are the most fucked up. And they're because there is this thing that happens when you've had a rough upbringing and you had
I had a great upbringing. Don't get me wrong. I come from a very, very good family. It had nothing to do with my dad, my mom, or anything other than me just deciding to go against the grain and literally do the opposite of what anybody tells me.
They loved me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my mom and dad, I think didn't know what to do with me as a kid. And so I feel like, they felt that if I was sent away to, inpatient treatments, or if I was put in like these boarding schools, or if I was put somewhere, if I was like locked away, I was safe. But really what I realized as an adult is, what happens when you put young kids together, I was going into one treatment with one addiction and coming out with another one. It was basically like the plug central. I was just kids don't realize that they need help until they, I feel like, get older and experience real consequences instead of their parents, schools, and other people yelling at them. But yeah, I don't know.
Rock bottom can always get lower.
Yeah, you can always die.
And that's the crazy thing is you see so many kids, 18, 19-year-old kids, who have completely fucked themselves but this thing called life hasn't quite kicked him in the teeth completely around the age of like 23, 24, 25, where you start, it's pretty much the paradigm shift of you're either one of your friends who went the American dream route, graduated college, or then there's that wake-up call where you're still the same goofball, loser, knucklehead who's doing the same old shit at the age of 23, 24, 25.
Yeah.
And you're stuck. We live in a comparative society. No matter what, you're stuck comparing.
Yeah.
And that kind of kicks you in the gut where it's like, dude, I am fucking up. I used to be able to get away with it because I was skating. I was young. I had the energy. But now when reality keeps checking me, it's like, dude, now I have to make adult decisions.
Yeah.
I can't keep living this way because I know where I want to be.
Yeah. And that was, you know, for some people, you know, some people don't get help. Some people never get help. You can't drag somebody into a program of AA. You can't drag somebody into treatment. They need to want it for themselves. And I always wanted a better life, you know, regardless if I couldn't stop doing whatever I was doing or not. But I definitely always wanted, you know, more for myself.
Do you go skydiving now? Is that how you get your fix? What do you
No,
do?
I've never been skydiving. I don't think I will go skydiving.
Yeah. Too many uncontrollables.
I have kids. Like, why? What's the point? Who cares? Like, whatever, man.
There's two ways it ends. One, on my feet, cool, woohoo, that was an awesome
Exactly.
minute of life. Or another one, I lose my fucking life to infinity and beyond.
Exactly. Booking
You know?
a music festival probably gives you more adrenaline than skydiving anyways.
Isn't that crazy? The day of experience, it's beyond the build, the stress, like, oh shit, tickets, dealing with BS, putting acts here, acts there, hotels, how are they going to get here, flights, whatever. And then it goes, and it goes so fast. It's like a wedding day.
Yeah.
Where you put all that time into one day or one weekend. And before you know it, it's like all these high fives, but there's like this backlog of like even more stress after the event's done where it's like, fuck. Because we're micromanagers. So it's like, oh, fuck, I could have done that differently. I could have done that better, da-da-da-da, go down the list. And then at the end of the day, it's like, wait a minute, bro. Did people have a good time? Yes, that's a win. You know? I'm uber hard on myself. And I see that with people who are perfectionists, who do epic shit, no, whether it's events or not, where it's like we're always nitpicking the things we could change, all the while the common consumer, they don't notice that shit.
Yeah.
It's a good time or not a good time.
Right.
You know? And then there's Becky puking in the bathroom.
Exactly.
Okay, so right now, with where your life is at, you've been sober for a minute. Do you have, is this where you start planning like future tense, things beyond the music scene, things beyond the event scene, like Zack Chazin's got to tell his story type shit?
I mean, the only, you know, number one, the only way that I've been able to be sober is taking it one day at a time. But when it comes to my professional life, I'm always thinking about the future. You know, I have my short term, my midterm, and my long term goals. My long term goals are constantly changing, as are my midterm goals. As soon as you accomplish your short term goals, you know, you reassess things. But yeah, I mean, you know, right now is a very interesting time in my life. So I'm really just focusing on, you know, I'm not trying to plan too far out, just really, really trying to crush what I have in front of me. And we'll, you know, I plan to reassess my life in 3 years. That's where I'm at right now.
Reassess in 3 years? That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in all honesty, you have way more epic shit to do in this moment. And that's kind of what a Buddhist monk would tell you, too. Motherfucker, I ain't worried about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if I got 1 foot in tomorrow, 1 foot in yesterday, what am I doing? I'm pissing on today. You ever heard that one?
I have not, no.
You can use it.
Okay.
Let's put it on a shirt.
All right, sounds good.
Because you won't accept my friend request?
I won't?
No.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't accepted a friend request on Facebook in a long time.
I know. So I just follow you, and I saw that. I saw that. This is where we cue in. I saw that, and I was like, "Yo, chess moves. This is why I like this guy." And this is before I met you at Lincoln Drink.
I gotta look and accept your shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Accept me, dog.
It's nothing personal.
No, it is okay. Because right when I met you, I was like, okay, he's A1. Because it's very tough, man, and not to be judgmental at all. It's just when you come across so many people, so many doers, you can kind of like pinpoint from a mile away due to initial conversations where it's like, I could fuck with them on the outs, or I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? It will strictly be business, or I could legit fuck with this person. I could be on a boat with this mother sucker.
Yeah.
You know? There is no in between, really.
Yeah.
It's like you're cool or you're not on the outside. And when you deal in this industry, bro, how do you not get tainted by artists that are douchebags?
That's a great question. I used to, well, first off, you should not meet them, especially if you're a huge fan of somebody. If you're a huge fan of somebody, don't meet them, because they're just normal people, man. They're just normal, fucking worthless, fucking miserable people, just like the rest of us. No, I'm just kidding. You know, but yeah, I mean, I have had many, many interactions, you know, because I like to book people I like, you know, and I have had many experiences where I book somebody and I'm like, not only will I never listen to this person again, but I'm never going to fucking book them again in my entire life. You know, but that was more when I was younger. You know, you just got to realize you know, and that was also before Instagram, you know, because before Instagram, musicians had this allure of being superhuman, right? And like you only heard of them when they're on the radio or on the TV. Now, I mean, Instagram has taken the veil back, and you can look into this person fucking cooking eggs, you know, like ranting about fucking God knows what, you know. So it doesn't really happen as much anymore, because now when I book somebody, I already know who they are as a person by following them on social media. But definitely back in the day, I'd be like, God, this dude fucking sucks. Like,
Did it affect you when Avicii died?
when Avicii died, I mean, it didn't affect me to the point where I couldn't get out of bed in the morning, but, you know, it just reconfirmed what I already knew, is that musicians on that level are very, very, very overworked. And along with everybody, you know, in modern day society, you know, we gotta take care of ourselves. You know, but no, it didn't really fuck me up to the point where I got depressed. But you know, he's a legend that was dealing with a lot of demons that went that just went untouched. You know, and I think a lot had to do with, you know, his management not really acknowledging how bad they were. Maybe they did, and they just, I don't know. It's sad, but it's very common. It's too common now that musicians are dying and not, you know, it's got to take care of each other out there, man.
Well, it goes to show that Bieber a couple years ago made a power move. He was feeling it. Was it before his world tour, or he was he was in the middle of it?
I mean, Kanye did the same shit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. You know, people, you know, I would just prefer that, you know, everybody in this business, you know, really just take a step back and make sure that they're not, you know, overworking themselves. Management, promoters, agents, you know, it's a very fast-paced business.
Man, Kanye, I have so much love for that guy. He's changed my life. And he has from the first time I heard drug dealing just to get by. I'll never forget where I was. And the thing is to see a person like that and to have met some of my favorite artists on a personal level in the green room hanging out. And you notice they're just a normal human being. And so many people online, because we all have a voice nowadays, they just ream this guy. And then you got Charlemagne, Kanye Kardashian, you know what I'm saying? Just going to town from a judgment standpoint. All the while, it's like, wait a minute. Take a step back. Put yourself in their shoes, because we've already acknowledged we have a mental health crisis going on right now. It doesn't diversify. It's across the board, man. Anyone can be sick. So when you have that level of attention and that level of egomania, ripping microphones out saying Beyonce had the best video of all time, that was a sick human being. And we just judge, and we don't acknowledge what's really going on there.
Yeah.
Someone who is starved. And that's where, like, with any of these artists, I have a very tough time passing judgment anymore. Demi Lovato with another relapse. And it's like you see Scooter, who's got her back 100%, 1,000%. He goes to bat. And you don't see that a lot. Like, I compare it to Avicii and his management, where that dude wasn't even stateside. He was still overseas in the same old office, just reaming Avicii, work.
Yeah.
And he never once put himself in his partner's shoes. And that's why I like kind of the new wave of CEOs as well, where they're taking down walls. They are basically being transparent with their acts and with their staff, their general managers, not overworking them. Hey, go take 10 days. I don't give a shit, bro. The wheel's still moving. And that is a place where I don't know if society's ever going to get to, because we're so short-sighted. Our attention spans are worse than a kindergartner who needs Adderall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just all of us across the board. So what does that do for these artists who are considered one-hit wonders? And where's their sanity going to be in 5 years? You know, because we're already seeing some fall off the map. Literally, they're gone.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard, you know. A lot of these guys, they blow up quick, you know, flash in the pan, you know, burn up red hot, and then just die out, make a little bit of money, and they want to flex on Instagram like, you know, like the people they see.
That's what happened with Triple X. He was flexing. It was known that he had $50K in his car, and he was going to buy a car for his old girl or something. And he was flexing online. They got him.
Yeah.
You know? That's what happened. You let them know your whereabouts. Shout out to the internet. You know? And it's really tough to, like, be a person, because I was sober for 4.5 years. I got sober when I was 23. And that was a paradigm shift with my understanding of what fun and entertainment is.
Isn't it funny though? Like, I remember back in the day, we were afraid to we were afraid to say like weed on the phone.
Yep.
That'll be like, who got loud? It's just so funny to me.
Yeah, now because I mean there was the old saying, the CIA is coming for you on Facebook, you know, and they were popping off people. That's why Mark Zuckerberg got a freaking award from the CIA, dude. They hooked him up with an award because the platform he built got so many people caught up, you know? And now look, it's just universal.
Yeah.
Snapchat's where it's at, dude. You can find a drug dealer on Snapchat, I promise you.
Yeah.
They will hook you up no matter what. What's your favorite platform to use?
Well, as much as I don't like Facebook, it's, as a promoter, it's really hard to just completely abandon Facebook, as a lot of people are doing these days. We sell a lot of tickets on Facebook, so you got to pay attention to that platform. Otherwise, IG, man, I get a lot of really good memes on IG. It keeps me going throughout the day.
The meme world, bro.
Yeah, it's really my only break of sanity throughout the day is memes.
So we didn't get to touch on it. When did you throw your first ever event?
I threw my first ever event in 2009. And that was a release party for a group that I was managing called Kids Like Us. I don't know if you've ever heard of the group out right now in Minneapolis called Cram. But that is like a side project of what this group was. And there was a release party with DJ Abilities, Carnage the Executioner, Toki Wright as special guests. I threw it at Aqua Nightclub. It was an all-ages event. Like, it was just the most janky shit ever, but it popped off. Like, it was really, really, really cool, and that was my first show about 10 years ago.
So was Toki involved with Rhymesters at that time?
Yeah. I mean, Toki technically is still on Rhymesters, I think.
Yeah.
But Toki was, Toki, DJ Abilities, and Carnage Executioner were special guests on that show.
Is it so cool, the accessibility of, like, our hometown heroes, which is Rhymesters?
Hell yeah. You know, shout out Jaybird, shout out Sadiq. You know, if it wasn't for them, you know, Rhymesayers have heavily influenced my life growing up in Minneapolis, as they have many other people my age in this town.
What goes through your head when you're not allowed backstage at a show that isn't yours, but you know everybody?
It hasn't happened.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
I don't know.
You get backstage everywhere, bro.
I mean, it's not even about backstage. It's, you know, number one, I'm rarely out at shows that aren't mine. And number two, I mean, it's not even about backstage. It's just about, you know, that's my colleagues. You know, usually if I'm going to see a band, it's a band that I like, that I've booked before, that I'm close with. Like, you know, I'm. A lot of people want to go backstage and loiter, right? Like, if you don't know anybody back there, like, you have no business being back there. Like, if you're just trying to go back there to drink free alcohol and eat, you know, veggie trays and flex on the gram, like, that's not for you. Like, if I don't know anybody backstage, if I don't know the band, like, I'm not trying to go backstage. Like, loitering is not something that is cool by any definition of the word.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, you know, yeah, definitely.
And it's like, because
I love when people ask me for backstage passes and I ask them why, and they just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Okay.
Like, if you have to ask for a backstage pass, like, you shouldn't get one. Like, those are things that aren't cool to ask for. You know what I mean?
You got to earn it, bro. And, like, that's the thing about backstage. It's kind of like, it's the
like,
holy grail.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes, like, if I'm at a show that's not mine, it's because, like, the manager, agent, or somebody in the group is like, yo, I'm going to be through Minneapolis, come through. I'll be like, cool. Yeah. Otherwise, like, I love spending time at home doing nothing. Like, my free time is very valuable to me, and, you know, if I don't need to be out, then I'm not.
Do you have a dog?
I have a dog, yes.
What kind?
He is a 13-year-old German Shepherd Husky Lab Greyhound mix.
Yo.
Yeah, his name's Byron. He comes to work with me every day. He comes to my office. He travels with me everywhere I go.
He does?
Oh, yeah.
Byron does? You take him on the road, too?
I mean, not on the road, but everywhere, you know, without being super extra.
I got you. Yo, Zack Kardashian just showed up. Freaking Byron. Yeah, I got a German Shepherd too.
Nice.
And he's high energy, and he's a tough cookie, bro, in regards to bringing him places, because he'll run a baby over. He don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a nice boy. He's never bit anybody. He'll just run a fucking baby over. He don't care. So when it comes to your free time, okay, so you don't like sports. So what does your free time consist of, Zach? Because you're like an alien to the Twin Cities, bro. We don't know.
Man, the very little free time I do have, I'm watching TV or spending time with my kids. I don't remember the last time I took a day off. Like, it's tough. It's tough right now, and you got to strike while the iron's hot. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of shit going on in my life, and, you know, my free time is usually at night, like the couple hours a night I get to catch up on Stranger Things or, you know, something like that. Otherwise, you know, I really like to barbecue. I like to spend time on Lake Minnetonka. I like to travel, but it's hard to find time to do much. When
you're booking acts, do you have to kind of be like Nostradamus, like who's going to pop next year when I'm trying to have this event? Or is it is that kind of what you're basing it on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you get an inside scoop from Los Angeles and New York, or?
No, I as a promoter, I use a number of platforms to base my analytics off. You know, I follow a lot of trend-setting blogs, playlists. So I'll look at those coupled with, you know, smaller tiers on trend-setting festivals. You know, like the smaller tiers on some big trend-setting festivals like the Coachellas and the Pitchforks and stuff like that, you know, usually are really good at spotting who's going to pop, you know. And I use that, you know, along with just seeing who my friends are listening to. You know, I have younger siblings, and sometimes, like, I'll ask them who they're listening to, and I just basically take the whole picture and figure it out, you know. And also, if a really, really, really good agent picks up an artist, I'll follow close attention to that artist because this really, really big agent is really, really big for a reason. You know, so they will probably know something I don't know. You know, yeah, there's really no magic crystal ball to it. You just have to know your market and the demographic you're promoting to and figure it out. Try not to go broke in the process.
I know. When did you graduate from Pandora to Spotify?
When I lived in Los Angeles, so 2010, 11, I graduated from Pandora to Spotify.
Damn, you're an OG of Spotify then.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. I toured their new buildings in the Art District in February. They're doing some things out there.
Oh, yeah.
And Spotify, that's our go-to for our podcast now, beyond iTunes. Stitcher, Google Play, cool, but it's Spotify.
Yeah, I was using both for a while. I was discovering music on Pandora and then going and saving it on Spotify. Just because the algorithm for the Pandora radio was so much more advanced than Spotify's. But then Spotify started, you know, doing a lot of the curated playlists and, you know, just switched over.
What's the greatest advice an artist has ever given you?
The greatest advice an artist has ever given me? They haven't given me any great advice.
For real? You've
Yeah,
never had a backlog conversation?
I've never asked an artist for any advice.
You've never gotten real with one?
I mean, I've gotten real with plenty of people. Just, I don't think I've ever asked life advice from one of them. I mean, not that I can
Mick
recall.
Jagger never just grabbed you by the shoulder and said, "Don't bang women with herpes."
No, he never said that to me. You know, the greatest advice I think I've ever gotten from anybody in the music industry is they didn't give it to me personally, but I read a book by a man named Jerry Weintraub. Do you know who Jerry Weintraub is? Jerry Weintraub, you know, he produced the Ocean's movies. Okay. He put Elvis out on his first tour, put the Rolling Stones out on their first tour. It's this, you know, he basically changed the entertainment industry. And he has a book called, I forgot what it's called. I read it when I was in treatment, but it's called They'll Know I'm Dead When I Stop Talking. That's what it's called. And a quote from his book is just one that I've really lived by, and it's, an idea is only crazy until somebody pulls it off. And that, like, really fucked with my head, and I was like, damn. And after I read that book is when I decided to move to L.A. You know, so, yeah, Jerry Weintraub, God rest his soul, he definitely gave me some shit to
Well, the
live by.
Ocean's movies were legendary because he brought so many grade A stars into one film.
Yeah.
So you're like the Jerry Weintraub of Minnesota.
Thank you.
I'm over here just fluffing you.
Thank you.
Make America sad again. No, but like to pull Brad Pitt, George Clooney, who else was in all those movies?
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody and their
Yeah.
mother. Was Matt Damon in them?
Yep.
He was? No Christian Bale, no.
Maybe, I don't know.
Dude, that fucked me up, though, because then you saw, I mean, let's not sleep on Pulp Fiction to have Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah.
John Travolta, Uma Thurman. Like, yo, come on, dude. That's badass, too. And I think Tarantino can kind of be thrown in that mix, too, because of what he does with his movies. He brought Leonardo DiCaprio and who's the other one in that Western movie? Another grade A star. I don't know. We're fucking off topic. Way off topic.
Well, Jerry Weintraub was like, he told a story about how, he finally saved up enough money to book his first Elvis show. And it was like one of the first shows he ever promoted. And he did a shit job at promoting it, and it didn't sell out. And Elvis's manager told him that if Elvis hits the stage and sees that it's not sold out, he's going to lose his mind and walk off stage. And so Jerry was talking about how he had booked this concert in this music hall where there were seats. And so the manager said that if not every seat is filled, he's going to walk off stage. So what Jerry did was he contacted a warden from a local prison and had prisoners come over and take and remove the seats that were left, so that when Elvis hit the stage, every single seat was taken. And that's just a key example of what my life is like. Figuring. I mean, every problem has a solution, right? And everything's negotiable, and you just need to figure it out.
Jerry Weintraub threw the first ever fire festival then. Yo, he conned Elvis.
To stop calling. No, first off, people need to stop calling festivals fire festivals, because Fire Festival, in reality, was a great festival. The only problem was the people that were attending were rich millennial influencers. Like, take any of us and put us on that fucking island, we would have had a great time. Like, there's nothing wrong with that festival other than people paid way too much money. And the people that were attending were idiots.
Blink 182 didn't show up. Did any of the acts show up?
None of the acts showed up. Not one of them.
So they marketed that.
I mean, obviously that was a big problem, but because they didn't have, yeah. I mean, if they would have had production and all that stuff, it would have been a great event. But it was a fire festival because of. I don't know, whatever. That was an amazing documentary, though. I remember I had a show that night, and I locked myself in the green room watching everything happen on Twitter, and it was one of the most amazing nights of my life, watching all that happen live on the internet. Like, I can't tell you how exciting that was for me.
Have you ever had an experience in the event game where you kind of had to fake it till you make it?
My entire life.
Yeah.
Have I ever had like a Fire Fest experience, is what you're asking?
Well, no, where you just kind of had to, make it seem like you're bigger than what you are so you can get what you want.
Yeah, the first 5 years of my career.
Yeah.
100%. Fake it till you make it.
That's what I had to do.
Act as if.
Act as if.
Act as if. Perception is reality. All that shit. It's true.
Last year, Gary V's agency hit me up. Mm-hmm. It was the day they were about to send out a contract. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Nick, we need a contact for Mayo Clinic. And I was like, fuck, because I was selling the big idea of the Destination Medical Center, da-da-da-da. And they had switched it up. They had confused Destination Medical Center with Mayo Clinic. Mm-hmm. DMC is like the economic builder for the city, where Mayo Clinic is a whole, they've granted $2 billion to them, but it's a whole different entity. So I walk in, I'm just stressing out, bro, because I know that contract's got to get sent out. Otherwise, they're going to know I'm fucking bullshitting, Mm-hmm. So, because it was just my idea. Mayo Clinic had nothing to do with it at all. And I roll into my stepdad's restaurant, and he's the president of the Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors, and they were having a meeting with the president of the Chamber of Commerce. I needed to meet her eventually. I had no idea what was about to happen. They get done with their meeting. This is at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm biting my fucking nails. Sure enough, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, Nick, you want to meet Kathleen Harrington, the president? I was like, yeah, let's do it. I brought up to her. I was like, do you know anyone at the Mayo Clinic? Da-da-da. Actually, I used to be the boss of the development director of Mayo Clinic. Should we call her up? Sure enough, dude, she gets her on the phone, gets her email off, or puts her on speakerphone, gets her email, gets her phone number, all of her identification information for the Mayo Clinic. And she didn't even know why she was giving it to a complete stranger. But because Kathleen called her, she gave it up.
Yeah.
Sure enough, it got sent over later that day.
Nice.
And that's how it happened. Fire Festival 2.0.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? But like that's kind of like the story of my life dealing with agencies, where it's like, bro, you gotta like seem bigger than you are.
Yeah.
And it's very tough because the whole time, like that's a battle. It's beyond getting an artist to give the okay and say yes and start planning. It's trying to get the email back from an agency. You know? It's like a 12-round fight that you're not sure if like you even belong in the fucking ring, but you know you've worked hard enough to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's why relationships are everything, man. You know, that's why, you know, early in my career, I would make it a point to, you know, go to LA, New York, Nashville, all these places and meet the people I was trying to do business with. You know, they treat you a lot better once you put a face to the email, you know, and all the people I work with now, you know, all the agents, you know, they're great friends of mine because we've worked together for 10 years. You know, it makes it a lot more fun when you're friends with people.
So they have your best interest in mind then?
I mean,
If you do the big ask?
you know, this answer might differ depending on who you ask, but an agent's job is to be the mediator between the promoter and the talent. Because without the promoter, the agent doesn't have a commission, and without the artist, the agent doesn't have a client. So it's in the agent's best interest to keep both parties happy. Now, some people only have their client's interest in mind because promoters are a dime a dozen and fuck them all, right? That's why it's important to be friends with people and, you know, just level the playing field by just not being some schmuck behind an email address.
The power of investors.
Power of a handshake.
No, I'm just saying. I'm bringing it up. On to
Oh.
the next thing. Yeah, the power of a handshake. Okay. And secret handshakes, that brings it to a whole different ballgame. Okay, so the power of investors, Zach. Now, are you on a time crunch?
No, I was just fucking emails.
This motherfucker's got ADD like a son of a bitch, dude. Okay, so power of investors. When you want to do something big and you bring them a big idea, is that another battle, or is it kind of gotten to the point now where you're just floating your own boat?
No, I mean, money is easy to come by. You know, there's a lot of money out there and a lot of people willing to invest in a number of different things. You know, I've never had issues really finding investors. You know, it's about, you know, do you want money or do you want a strategic partnership?
Yep.
And, you know, at first, you know, we definitely needed money to, you know, create everything we're doing. But as things grow and get bigger, strategic partnerships are really what's valuable. But, you know, as far as investors, I mean, an investor is investing in not only in the business, but in me or my partners, you know? And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so
Fucking yeah.
so after you get done with an event, do you kind of have a lull in regards to, or is it just kind of just riding the wave? Because
After I get done with a festival, I'm already balls deep into my next festival.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, I have 515 next week, and after 515, you know, it's full speed on Snowta, because the lineup is going to come out shortly after 515, you know, and then I have Zombie Pub Crawl in October. You know, so after Snowta in December, I have a small window where not much is going on, but springtime, we got to start heavily planning the summer festival again. So no, it never ends for me.
Is it only 515 in the summer?
Right, as of right now, yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any
I
plans?
have 515 in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
Zombie Pub Crawl in the fall, and Snowta in the winter.
What about other ones? Like, because do you ever get an itch just to, this artist is going on tour? Do you ever get an itch just to throw just a singular event at the Armory or anything like that?
Yeah, it's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that just through? Never mind. We can't talk about your employer.
Yeah. There you go.
But that's all the time, though.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So I throw club and venue shows all year round.
Dude, what's your stress level like? Dude, I gotta get a fucking picture of it. God damn, dude, you're playing with that chord worse than Freddie Mercury in his fucking deathbed, dude. Straight up. Only he was playing with the IV chord. Give me more. Give me more.
It's all good though. It's a good stress. I mean,
because they have
everything's manageable. If it was a bad stressful, I wouldn't. There would probably I mean, everything's manageable. I have figured out how to maintain a life and work balance.
Yeah,
and that's important. Yeah.
So what's your morning look like? Is it the 5 a.m. club?
No, fuck that.
Read, meditate, and work out? What?
My morning routine is I wake up usually at like 7 or 8, take a shower, brush my teeth, get dressed, and go to the office. And I'm there until 6 o'clock, and then I'll either go pick up my kids from camp or school or wherever they're at, or I'll just go home and eat. That's not that exciting of a life.
So you never, what's your show on Netflix right now?
Well, my show right now is Handmaid's Tale. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale is amazing. I watch Handmaid's Tale. I watch Euphoria.
Dude, The Sinner. Have you watched The Sinner? That'll fuck your life up.
I don't know if I have watched The Sinner.
It's from, actually, I think, USA, but they brought it over. And I was surprised because I was like, I don't know, man. If it ain't an HBO show, I'm probably not going to get too in-depth with it. Mm-hmm. It'll fuck your life up.
Oh.
The Sinner. Write that shit down.
All right.
What book are you reading right now?
I am not reading any book.
Really? So it's just full steam ahead on Instagram stories. Those are your stories.
Just going hard, dude. Going hard on the gram.
Okay, so on this show, Stationary Astronaut comes from me tripping balls in the middle of the jungle.
Amazing.
So I like to talk about the most psychedelic experience you've ever had.
Oh, wow.
Zach, it changes your life whether it was good or bad.
I mean, sort of. Like, I mean, not always. For people who haven't done psychedelics, think it's like some magical fucking experience. It's really not.
It's like too much information on yourself.
like sometimes you're just sitting there fucking crying for no reason, and that's it. I remember once I ate mushrooms and I had such a horrible, horrible trip, and I was just bawling, dude. I was bawling about my diet. I was bawling about the war in Afghanistan at the time, because this was 2009. I was just fucking crying, dude. And my friends were just like, it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. You'll be fine. I'm just like, no, it's not. This is not okay. And then 2 minutes later, I'm just laughing to the point where I'm just I feel like my face is gonna fall apart, because. But the first time I ever did LSD was when I lived in Colorado and I went snowboarding on acid. That was amazing.
You were connected to the feng shui, bro.
Dude, I remember I had for some reason I had a jet fighter helmet that some dude left at my house. And so I just ate a bunch of acid and put on this jet fighter pilot helmet and went snowboarding and just went off jumps. It was flapping my fucking arms. It was fucking tight. And then I went through a phase, where I was microdosing, You know, like, because like all these like people in Silicon Valley and like all these people are like, yeah, you know, we eat acid and like create, you know, life-saving technology in Silicon Valley. And like, I was like, cool, I'm gonna fucking microdose acid every day too, and like maybe I'll do some amazing shit with my life. No, I didn't. I was just high on acid every day. That's all that happened.
I had this doctor.
Nothing incredible happened except for me being high on acid all day long for 2 weeks.
You were vibing though.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like, shit was a little bit more fuzzy and, like, the colors were a little bit more vibrant, but there was nothing spectacular that came out of that.
You didn't pull anything out of it?
No.
With your diet or nothing?
No. You know, and I used to be really heavy into designer drugs, like 2CB, 2CI, 5-MeO, DIPT, like shit you could, like, only get, like, on the internet from Japan. And, like, that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. You know, but like again, nothing extraordinary happened except for me being faced on hallucinogens.
It takes commitment to trip every day. It's not like a cocaine addiction where like it's speedy and then it's a drop. It's like, no, that's a commitment, bro.
Bye.
We used to know Zach. We don't know Zach anymore.
Yeah, like yeah.
This motherfucker doesn't exist, dude. He ceases to exist.
Yeah.
So where does your because I mean with your festivals, like you talked about bringing snowboarding into the mix and stuff like that. That's that's an artistic venture to get creative with an event. Where do your most creative times come from? Is it like early in the morning with coffee?
No, just fucking spitballing with my partners. You know, like one of the best things about Zombie Pub Crawl is that, you know, the objective behind Zombie Pub Crawl is not to be like a cool, trendy hip music festival. It's to make people say, what the fuck? And to see what we can get away with. You know, I mean, you look at our lineups and they make absolutely no sense. You know, they just don't. And, you know, some of the things that we do, you know, are just ridiculous. So I kind of take the Zombie Pub Crawl mentality and apply it to other festival properties to where it makes more sense, you know, in Snowta in the middle of the winter, you know, first year we had skateboarding, skate park, and then the second year we had skateboarding and then brought in snowboarding. You know, we almost did freestyle motocross last year too. But we had to move it into the armory and you couldn't do that in the armory obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, half the fun, you know, we just spitballing and talking shit with my partners, and we're like, oh my god, wait a minute, this could actually work, and then we figure it out, and like, you know, yeah.
How much moolah do you throw into production compared to acts? Because it ain't cheap.
No, but I mean, it's all relative to the festival. I mean, you know, an outdoor festival like Zombie Pub Crawl and 515 take a lot of production. You know, there's permits, there's insurance, there's fencing, there's porta potties, there's 24-hour security to make sure nobody gets in after hours. There's
and they're getting
cops.
They get paid double.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, you know, that goes into production, but usually the talent budget far exceeds the production. You know, usually.
Do you operate on the 60-40 rule?
Which is what?
With like the talent makes 60%.
No,
and
I
then,
don't operate on any rule.
Really?
We just fucking book the shit.
You just book the shit?
Yeah, we just book the shit and figure out a way to make it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you got any questions for me, big boy?
No.
Ask me one, dude. Come on, dog.
What are we doing this for? Why are we even here?
I don't know, to be honest. I just always had my sights set on you. I was like, I want to talk to this motherfucker.
Tight.
And then I didn't realize that you were just a weirdo too.
Yeah, man.
I thought you were like this mythical creature.
No.
And then I was like, wait a minute, this motherfucker's normal.
There's nothing special about anything that happens over
Really?
here on this side of the table.
What are we doing here? He says. Yesterday he's like, oh, we can just do this on my boat if you want. I was like, yo, too many moving parts. There's no way. There's no fucking way. And then sure enough, you know the people here.
Yeah.
Some of them, right?
Zack Sussman, who's one of the partners here, is a good friend of mine, and his cousin Jack he's like a general manager here, whatever. But yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to officially ask you right now. Do you want to be on our panel for Lincoln Drink
I would love to.
6?
I would love to.
You
Let's
do?
do it.
Because it's
Hell
music industry based.
Dope.
And I know we've already kind of precursor talked about it.
Yeah.
But I want to force your hand on air. That way you have to say
down.
yes.
Yeah, I'm down. That sounds fun.
But I haven't even given you the date yet.
I don't care. I'll be there.
It's September 10th here.
September 10th.
Upstairs with the skyline in the backdrop.
Let me just make sure I'm not out of town.
He said yes before he checked his fucking calendar.
Pretty sure I'm in town.
Damn, dude.
September
Please.
10th, I am in town.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
Let's get it.
So you're in like Flynn?
I'm in like Flint, bruh.
Because you were at the last one.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you were sitting there just letting me be a weirdo on stage. I about freaking pointed you out of the crowd like I was pointing. Remember Jeff?
Wait, what happened?
Remember Giselle's boyfriend?
Yep.
The whole time he was kind of a pun of a lot of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
I almost made you a pun of a joke. I was like, no, can't do it.
Could've?
Can't
Shit.
do it. Nope, can't do it, bro.
Anybody who takes themselves too seriously in 2019 is going to have trouble.
Yeah, but isn't that fucked up? Because that's like where everyone thinks they're so much more important than what they are.
No, none of us are important at all, honestly.
Absolutely.
Nothing means really anything.
Isn't that the kind of mentality you have to get to do epic shit?
You know, my mentality as I've grown older is just kind of like fuck it all, fuck everybody, and you know, like I'm, you know, not in like a derogatory way,
Yeah.
right? Like when I say that, it's like fuck anybody that has anything to say, you know, negative, whatever. I can take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Like, I love constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody needs to learn how to take constructive criticism. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless of what people think of me. Because I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Like, it doesn't matter.
No.
You know, and, I mean, it's 2019. Like, look what's happening in politics. Like, so there's a lot of fucked up shit happening in the world, and... You know, I throw parties for a living. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not saving the fucking world. Not curing brain cancer and fucking, you know, like promoters that like are so like, you know, it's like, no, it's like, dude, like look at what we do for a living. It's not that big of a deal. Like, relax.
Do you ever put it on your shoulders though that you are able to instill cultural change locally?
Yes, I realize that, and I am honored to be able to do that. And I do think that's important. 100%. You know, I think it's really cool when I see and hear people having some of the best times of their lives at events I've curated. Like, I think that's absolutely amazing. You know, people getting engaged and married at, like, my festivals, like, that's crazy.
Babies being made?
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, yeah. I think it's awesome.
There's going to be this legend of like Snowta babies.
Oh, there are.
There are.
Me and Gabby met at Snowta.
Really?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you, was she a backstagean or would you just go pull her out of the crowd?
No, I hired a company to have influencers promoting Snowta VIP on Instagram.
Yeah.
And she was one of the influencers, and we met at Snowta, and, you know, kind of hit it off.
You didn't even have to hit up her DMs. You hit up her real life.
Hit up her real life, man. It's 2019, dude.
Through an agency.
You gotta slide into the real life DMs.
Real life DMs.
Let's leave all that off.
No, dude. No, let's go, bro. We gotta keep that shit, dog. I still can't believe. I can't believe Post Malone didn't babysit your kids, dude. I could have sworn I was gonna get a way different story than what the fuck I got.
He did not babysit my kids. No.
So, like, that's got to be cool, though, to be able to hand your kids, like, actually, it's got to be the most fulfilling feeling ever to be able to hand your kids those kind of experiences, especially this year's Soundset experience, too.
Yeah, I mean, my son Jackson definitely doesn't realize how cool it is that he has, like, pictures with, like, Post Malone, The Baby, Flatbush Zombies, like, all these, like, you know, like, he's like, yeah, whatever, you know. He thinks it's cool, but he's definitely going to appreciate this when he's older, you know.
What was that? What would have been that type of experience for you as a child? Because it wouldn't have been a sporting event. Like meeting Michael Jordan probably wouldn't have been at the top of your list.
I don't know, man. Meeting Crunch at the Timberwolves game or some shit.
That was it?
I had a pretty normal upbringing, yeah.
But I mean, didn't you grow up with like influence in your household in regards to music?
Yeah, I mean, my uncle, Bobby Z, you know, was a drummer for Prince and the Revolution. Yep. You know, so I was definitely around some cool stuff as a kid.
You just pull that out of your ass. He just pulls that out of his fucking ass. Yeah, my uncle was actually Prince's drummer, so I mean, that was fucking cool.
My dad tells this story that I don't believe it because I've never seen this picture, but he says that there's a picture of me in diapers on Prince's purple pool table at Paisley Park with, like, you know, super famous people in the background. I don't know, but I've yet to see this picture, so I don't know if I believe it or not, but yeah.
Do we have to call Pops right now?
We should.
Would he pick up?
He might.
Because we have to ask him once he reloads that battery. We're calling fucking Padre up. We put people on blast here.
I'm fine with that. We'll see if he answers.
Once we reload this, dude, where would Pops be right now?
Probably working.
It did? Dude, all of our batteries are dying. Okay, recording. Boom shakalaka. Put Pops on speakerphone, put him in the microphone. We're asking him where that damn picture is. What's your dad's name?
Brad.
Brad?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever call him Bradley when you're mad at him?
I don't.
Oh. Get it into the microphone.
Dad.
Yeah.
I'm doing a podcast interview right now, and they want to know where this picture is of me on Prince's pool table.
Okay, run that by me again. You're doing a podcast. I'm sorry, I'm like, oh, here. Let me just step out here where it's a little more quiet.
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait, I will in a second. Okay.
Okay, so
You're doing a podcast.
I'm doing a podcast right now, and I was telling a story about how you always tell people and claim that there's a picture of me on Prince's pool table, purple pool table, in diapers.
Oh, no, in his bedroom, in his office. I mean, all over the place. I mean, you know, I took about 20 pictures of you with your baby there. But I promised that I would never release those pictures. Remember, and the day he died, you called me up and wanted those pictures to see if we could release them. Well, I suppose now everybody else is... I don't know where they are, but one of these days I should look for them.
Yeah, we should really try to find those.
I got a Chanhassen at the pool. I had you... Oh, on the piano, on the purple piano. That's, I think, my favorite. In your little thing that you carry, the little infant thing. In his closet. I put you in his closet. If Prince knew you were in his closet with all the matching shoes and outfits, he would have thrown a fit. So,
That's amazing.
All right. I'll look for him, but not tonight.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bro, what the fuck? I asked you what your favorite fucking experience as a child would have been had an opportunity come about. I don't know, meeting Crunch or something. Motherfucker, you were in diapers on Prince's pool table.
I don't remember that. I was in diapers.
Yo,
I remember meeting Crunch, though.
but you were playing with his wardrobe, though. Pop spilled all the beans.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bean Spillin' Bradley. Damn, just letting it all hang out. Okay, so nowadays, Have you been to Disney World recently?
Yes, I brought my kids to Disney World after Snowta last year.
I'm really contemplating.
This year.
I don't know what age to bring my daughter there.
Bro, one thing that was really weird about Disney World is that there were a lot more adults there than children. You know, because kids, Disney isn't as accessible these days as it was when we were kids. When we were kids, is the only thing we were watching. Disney, they don't stream a lot of their shit. They only have their TV channel. Mm-hmm. Now they have their app. So maybe, my kids will start to experience Disney stuff. But, like, Disney characters, like, kids don't know about,
Well, they're getting so real. You see the new Lion King?
I have not yet.
Bro, it's badass. But it's like a National Geographic show singing to you.
Crazy.
Because it's so realistic. So it's like, those lips shouldn't be moving like that, singing this melody, but they are, and it's kind of like it throws you off because we're the OGs of the Disney World. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in the day when Ariel had red hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nowadays I don't know, baby boy. Okay, so what kind of people are really interested in how tapped in you are right now to mainstream entertainment? Mm-hmm. And are you, because you obviously brought Post Malone here, are you tapped in, or are you more focused on what's next?
Tapped in like what I listen to, or who I hang out with, or
what you're listening to and what you're trying to bring out?
I mean, Snowta has an element of mainstream to it, right? Last year we had Skrillex and Marshmello. Marshmello's pretty mainstream, pretty pop.
Did you get under that hood? Did you get to see his real face?
Oh yeah, I've known who he is from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not that big of a secret if you know, but yeah.
What about Deadmau5? You ever seen Under That Hood?
Yep.
You have.
He plays a lot without his helmet on.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. That's not a secret.
But Marshmello is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a secret anymore.
Shit. I'm about to Google Marshmello's face right now.
Yeah.
So Snowta has an element of mainstream.
Yeah, and Post Malone, and Gucci Mane, Post Malone and Gucci are pretty much pop these days. But as a promoter, I never wanted to pigeonhole myself into being a certain type of promoter. I never wanted to be a rap promoter. I never wanted to be an EDM promoter. I want to be able to promote a wide range of shows. Mm-hmm. I've booked everything from Christian rap to country to rock to EDM, reggae. I mean, everything. But my festivals specifically are just mainly focused around pop, rap, and dance music. Yeah.
That's where the energy is right now, in my eyes.
That's where the ticket buyers are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Ticket buyers are young, and they have disposable income. Mm-hmm. Or they don't have income and they use their parents' credit cards to buy tickets.
Mom, please, it's already linked up to my Apple account.
Yeah.
Just let me get it.
Exactly.
It's coming back. Let me get in there. So what was it like booking Post Malone? What the fuck was the process like? A lot of stress or a quick yes?
I confirmed his show. I confirmed it the night before Rockstar dropped. Yeah.
And when it dropped, were you creaming in your pants?
Yeah, and then yeah.
Details, please.
I mean, I don't, let's put it this way. They agreed that I got a really good deal.
That was it?
Yeah.
They agreed?
Yes.
Watching you play with that cable gives me anxiety.
I like it.
Bro. I never should have gave him the 20-footer, bro. Too much footage.
It's a big ass microphone, man.
So, Zach,
what's up?
Do you didn't grow up playing sports?
No.
You didn't give a fuck about sports. You gave a fuck about entertainment. Uh-huh. Now, is that
I didn't really give a fuck about entertainment. I just like throwing parties.
You just like throwing parties?
I used to throw parties in the basement at my dad's house. you know, and I had turntables. Like I was a huge geek on like DJ equipment and like, you know, I used to subscribe to like DJ equipment magazines and like I would order like lights and strobes and like I just used to throw ragers in my dad's basement.
Brad sounds cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's pretty chill. He's
a good dude.
My mom would let us throw parties in her basement just so it was a controlled environment. She knew where we were.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Even though we'd be sneaking like double the people through the windows downstairs.
Yeah.
Just to get away with it.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a while there before marijuana was universally accepted.
Isn't that weird? Like I used to get grounded for weed, and now my parents like like we get high now too, man.
Well, that was the weirdest thing was trying to hide it.
Ground them,
and you can't. It's very tough to hide the old white rhino.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the type of shit you could throw a piece of glass and it would just stick there. The OG white rhino. It's like, you can't hide that. I had freaking turkey bags and buckets and my mom could still smell it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're grounded, Nick. Well, at least I'm getting high while I'm doing it. You know? Dude, I remember one party. My mom was out of town and we had 2 piranha and 2 pacu. And there was this hockey player at my house who thought he was just the shit. He was trying to catch the fucking pacu, and the piranhas teamed up and fucking came biting his hands on the back end. It was.
I thought you were talking about weed strains just now.
Nope.
Got it.
Nope. Definitely just fish that eat people. Yeah, they just fucking eat people. So they were taking chunks out of his hands. Water everywhere.
Tight.
You could see more cans than you could see floor after that one. My aunt came in the house. She's like a spitting image of my mom, just laughing her fucking ass off, just knowing how much trouble I was going to be in. Throwing parties ain't cheap, baby. Sometimes you give your moms heart attacks and shit.
I know.
So was it just, so you end up in Colorado, right? Mm-hmm. You're out there tripping balls, fucking microdosing, trying to trying to work for Microsoft. Like that.
Just trying to keep my job as a lifty on the mountain.
Did you ever, this would have been, did you make it down to X Games then? And to get to see that extravaganza?
In Minnesota or Colorado?
Winter X Games out there.
No.
Back when they had it out there.
I never did that.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So then you go out to Los Angeles.
The furthest I could hitchhike was Boulder.
Okay. The furthest you could hitchhike?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to hitchhike out there because everybody's on the same shit. Everybody's a ski bum, you know. Yeah.
Well, if Airbnb isn't invented yet, you might as well just fucking do it. Full send.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever heard of the LA Vortex? Mm-hmm. Sucks you in, spits you out.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Well,
I just call that LA.
I mean, there's this thing that happens where it's these higher dreams where people are going to move out there, right?
Yep.
And then the majority, too many, a lot of them, end up moving back home because they didn't go there with not even a plan. They didn't go there with momentum.
The key to LA is longevity. Mm-hmm. If you can, you know, what you got to remember is that there are probably 5,000 people a day that are moving to LA to do the exact same thing that you're trying to do, and everybody's going to stab you in the back to get to whatever it is, right? So you have to be on your grind every single day out there. You need to just be on your fucking hustle and figure out a way to stay out there long enough until the magic happens. That's it. If you are on your grind and if you are putting yourself in situations and positions where opportunity can come about, like you'll make it out there for sure. You know, like preparation, or what is it? It's luck is nothing more than preparation meeting opportunity. Straight up. And you know, LA's a town where if you work it, like you will make it. You just need to fucking stay out there long enough. And a lot of people go out there and they get turned down, or this or that happens, and they fucking leave. And you know, it's not an easy place to live. It's really, really expensive. When I moved out there, I moved out there without knowing a single person. I was living in a halfway house just because it was cheap rent. You know, the halfway house kicked me out because I got a job at a nightclub and I was coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, and pissing off everybody else that was trying to get sober there, you know, because I was working at a nightclub. And I'm like, dude, I came out to LA to work in the music business. Like, what do you want from me? Like, you know, fuck off. So then I just found some piece of shit place in Mar Vista, and I was living on an air mattress in unfurnished apartments, fucking stealing Wi-Fi from my neighbors. I got a job with this sales company, knocking on doors, setting appointments for window salesmen to come and like sell windows to people. And that's what I was doing. I was just fucking doing whatever I could do if I can pay the rent until I found a way into the talent agencies that I was trying to get into. And like William Morris, like if you ever seen Entourage, Ari Gold in Entourage is based after Ari Emanuel from William Morris. So Ari Gold's agency is based off of William Morris, and that's literally how it is, you know. And you know, I would network on Twitter. I would figure out where all the agents hung out and where all their assistants hung out, and I'd just go to those places and network with people. And I got my resume, you know, into the hands of into the human resources guy that worked there. And you know, I mean, this place you need like a 4-year college degree to even get like in the mailroom, but you know, I think they can definitely spot talent, raw talent, and you know, whatever. And I got a job there, and then just realized really quickly it's not what I wanted to do. I hated it. You know, I was not made for a corporate dynamic that was that. You know, but I had a lot of fun in LA. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot. You know, LA was like my college. It really was, because I went out there, I learned a lot, and then I realized that, you know, the path of success that I was on in LA was a 5 to 7 year path, and I was like 26 at the time, and I just knew I didn't have that much time. Like I couldn't spend that much time to get to where I wanted to go, and I missed being a promoter. So I was like, you know what? Instead of being a small fish in a massive pond, I'm going to take all this shit that I've learned and go back to Minnie and do some festivals and try to be a big fish and fucking just do it. And I did.
The hero's journey. All you had to do is find a halfway house and tell them to fuck off.
Exactly.
Dude, do you ever look at yourself in the mirror and say, God damn, how did I get here?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, how am I still alive?
How do I still have my mind? Oh, shit, there's a wandering gypsy. No, I was just talking about all your fucking LSD journey.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that whenever I look at my kids, you know, definitely, like, the majority of people that I got sober with and like went to treatment with are all dead right now. You know, and yeah, I was definitely on that path. You know, I'm not free and clear of it either. You know, in recovery, it's right around the corner. You know, so it's just one day at a time, man.
It's realizing that bullshit happens whether you're sober or not.
Life happens.
You know, no matter what. Shitty situations come across your plate, whether you're sober or not. It's all about how we deal with them, and we can deal with them more healthily. Is that even a word? More healthy? We can deal with them more healthy when we have a sober mind, when we're clear thought.
Yeah.
This guy, he's been sober forever, dude. Caleb, to my right, he got kicked out of every bar in Indianapolis in one night.
Really?
He was just fucking gone, dude. Just gone.
How long have you been sober?
I stopped drinking in 2012.
Nice. Do you go to meetings?
I have gone to a lot of meetings. I think, so I guess I should say I decided to stop drinking in 2012, and had a pretty spotty record until about a year and a half ago, and then something has changed, mainly in my approach, because I started putting some work into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you go to meetings?
I do. I got to refill my parking meter. Yeah, I go to meetings twice a week.
So do I. Are you doing it via your phone?
My parking meter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Can you hit up 4053 too? So Zach, because Gabby's the one who poked me. She's like, dude, he's got such an interesting story. You got to get it out of him. And that's what I'm trying to do is just yoink it out of you, dude. Not your soul, just your story. So you get... He's refilling his meter right now.
Keep talking. We're good.
Fuck, dude. Hey, Dominique, what was our number? Was it 4053? Was it, dude? Fuck, bro. Could you? Well, Dominique knows where it's at. Here, take my card. Shit. My wallet.
Your car?
Yeah, my car. It's down Third Street. So it's down a block and a half down 3rd Street. So if you walk out the back, go down to 3rd Street and walk down a block and a half, you'll see it. Okay. This battery's about to fucking die too, dude. We're just running this shit up, Zach. Is it? Dude, we're living it. Okay, so here's the deal. We got time, baby. We got time, dude. I'm soaking all this up, dude. I'm soaking it all up. Okay, so you, and we can edit whatever the fuck we want. It doesn't matter. We'll make this a complete show, I promise.
Okay.
Because when I dig deep and I get a story like that, like you just told out of Los Angeles, so many people gravitate towards that because it is the hero's journey. You know, like we try to take the best out of the worst.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't have done epic shit if it weren't for the shitty times.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people like to hear it because they realize, oh, my life isn't so bad. Because we do. I keep going back. We live in a comparative society. And it's just as bad as it is, it's good too because we can grab things out of people where we don't have to go through the shit they went through. Tony Robbins, for instance, great example. I don't ever want to go through what Tony Robbins went through. All the while, he's teaching people across the planet how to be better human beings.
Yeah.
There's one example. You know what I'm saying? Some of our favorite artists have been through the shit. The phoenix rises from the ashes.
Yeah.
But it's the work we put in. It's what we do to see to it that we shine.
Yeah.
Do you kind of find yourself, when you look in the mirror and you say, how the fuck did I get here? Do you just, is it lace up my boots, back at it, baby boy, let's go get it? Because you look at it like
I get up and I go to
right?
work.
I know, it's going to war, right?
I get up and I go to work. That's it. You know, it's nothing more, nothing less. I get up and I go to work and I try to do it to my absolute best every single day. You know, of course, there are things in my life that happened and that, you know, prohibit me from performing my best, but you make it through. I mean, you're never going to be A1. You know, we're all human, but I get up and I go to work.
There's no competitiveness to it?
No, there is. There definitely is because, you know, I mean, in LA, it's a little different because if you're ever slacking, there's going to be somebody that's going to take your spot, you know, take your crown, so to speak. You know, have a little bit more security out here. But, yeah.
You're a legend. I'm going to let you go.
But thank you.
Your ADD's through the fucking roof right now. Yep, and we're out of battery.
we ran the cameras
Zach,
dry.
Appreciate you, bro.
This was fun, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Round 2 is coming.
I'm
Lincoln
ready.
Drink.
Yeah.
006, mother suckers.
Who do you have doing that? Need help getting anybody?
Yes. Well, no, we got you, we got Pharaoh, we got Michael Shines.